Hey everyone, surprise again. I'm going to take over the Ian Dyer Friday evening show. Okay, Ian. All right, I'm going to be a regular guest. I hope that's
Yeah,
okay.
for sure. No, this is family, not a guest.
As everyone knows, we are doing Biotech special this week, Ian. And so I told Ian that we want to talk about some of the cool stuff that you do in, is it Rapid Profit Trader, and I believe maybe even Rebound Profit Trader are on biotechnology stocks, special setups that happen really in some ways only in biotechnology. They never happen really anywhere else because they're the only ones that have certain events. And right now I believe it's in Rebound Profit Trader, right? Where we
Yes.
have this set up.
Yep.
So we've got this setup where Roche Pharmaceuticals has a bid out to buy a company called Spark Therapeutics, right?
Yeah, Spark
Okay,
Therapeutics.
Spark Therapeutics. And the difference between where Spark Therapeutics is currently trading at and where the bid is from Roche Pharmaceuticals, which, by the way, those of you who don't know, is perhaps the world's largest biopharmaceutical company. In other words, they have enough money. They could borrow the money if they didn't have it. In other words, their credit is good. So if they're bidding for something, you would normally expect to see the company that they're bidding or looking to acquire trade very close to the bid price. And it's instead trading where, Ian? Where is it?
Well, the bid price was $114.50,
Right.
and right now it's trading at about $101, and it was actually just in the 90s a couple days ago, so it's way lower than it should be.
Right. So it's still $15 off. So let's say approximate 15%. It's a unusual thing because normally it would trade very close to it. And I told Ian when I saw this, I was like, hey Ian, I think we could do like an option trade here where we could benefit from this price difference. And so we've done this trade in Rebound Profit Trader, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so in biotech, the reason why I bring this up is in biotech, we have setups like this that really you can have value created really, really, really fast. And if you remember, Ian, now this was a never didn't work out, but nonetheless, it was a similar trade. You remember the trade we did with Aveo Pharmaceuticals, right? You want to tell
Yeah.
folks like what we did with that one?
Yeah, so there's this. It's like a smaller biotech company called Aveo, and we were waiting for some data to come out. So with a lot of stocks, the main thing that people kind of look at for kind of a big price jump and anticipate that is earnings. So when companies report their quarterly earnings, that's when everybody wants to buy in. That's when people are looking for a big price jump. With biotech, you have a lot more kind of events where you can make a lot of money really fast. And with Aveo, we were looking for one of their clinical trial studies to
Right.
come through. We're looking for
Phase three on tivozanib. I never remember worked out exactly how to pronounce it, but that was the one. We were looking for
yep,
phase three results, right?
right, and the data came out and it was good, but you can't always predict what happens with the stock. In this case, unfortunately, it went down. But we have had other good trades. We've had two successful trades on a different company called Sarepta Therapeutics in Rebound Profit Trader, because these biotech stocks are really volatile. They can go up and down 20% in a month. So sometimes we see good dip opportunities to buy and we get in and the stock just shoots way up. So it can be from this data. It can be from really just the pure volatility that these stocks have. But these trial data come out and you see sometimes these stocks jump like 200% in a day.
That's right. I mean, and trial data is one thing. Approvals of products from the government is a second event that can also cause stocks to shoot up. And then also there's also an active market from large biopharmaceutical companies that are looking to buy these small companies too. Like for
Yeah.
example, last week you would have seen, I believe it's was it Alexion or Vertex that bought Achillion Pharmaceuticals
Yep.
72%. Boom.
Alexion. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was big.
that was big. And
Yeah.
then right after that, or right before that, Raw Pharmaceuticals bought by UCB, or European company, 100% in a day.
Yeah.
Boom.
Even
Gone.
Spark, it was, I believe, 90 something percent that had jumped the day that Roche said they were going to buy them. So,
Right.
at Roche, the deal was $4.3 billion. Roche has over $11 billion in cash. So this deal is not going to be a problem. and it's a great time to get in when the stock's like 101. You see the deal price is 114.50, and I mean, in the option market, that can be a really big gain.
Right. So, I mean, in this week, Biotech Week, we're just trying to show you about how really, I mean, for me, the biotech sector, as you know, Ian, I made a lot of money for myself personally. I've been involved in it since 1999. I told the story in the Bull Profits Daily and Tuesday how I got started in it. Was really thrown in the deep end by my portfolio manager who said, "Please go work out what is happening and you know to figure out these stocks." And it's been a godsend to me, truth, because I've always had a lot of money in biotech, and it's taught me a great deal about the psychology of the market. In other words, these things trade based on psychology all the time. It's been huge, huge, massive moves all the
Right.
time, all
Yep.
the time. So if you're interested in what I believe is going to be a massive bull market in biotech that is unfolding right now, and we've got a set of trades for you in my Extreme Fortune service, just click on the strong hands right here, and I will take you to a link that will give you all the details to get in on this. And we're doing this biotech special week this week. So strong hands right here. We'll send you to the link that will tell you all about the biotech bull market special that we're doing for this week. All right, moving past biotech in Tesla.
Yeah. Huge.
Whoa.
Huge. Yeah. Yeah, so we're actually recording this Wednesday. So Tesla literally just reported earnings like an hour ago. Earnings were great. They said they sold like 50% more Model 3s than last year. I think it was 56,000 just the Model 3s last year. And this year was like high 70,000.
The 79,600,
Yeah,
just looking it up, Ian,
yeah,
79,600 Model 3s, 97,000 cars sold in full. And
yeah,
the big shocker is that they actually announced a profit.
yeah, yeah. Amazing. And nobody said that was
Right,
possible. Yeah, that's like they've done that multiple times in like the past year.
right. And if you remember, like people have been saying, like, look, Tesla is like every other car company. Every other car company has margins of 3 to 5%. The best car, they're never going to have margins that are any good. And our research has shown quite different, which is
Yep.
that an EV is completely different than an internal combustion engine car.
Right, because they have like a 1 or 2% of the amount of parts go into it. Much more simple to build, cheaper to build, and I mean they sell the Model 3s for like $40,000. And really, you don't have to do any maintenance on them. You don't have to pay for gas. So over the life of the car, it pays for itself. I saw that actually that someone just got to 100,000 miles on a Model 3, and it's
Yeah,
shown
I
like
saw I
nowhere.
saw that too.
Yeah,
And in fact, when the Model 3 was first actually released, they did a teardown and they estimated that their gross margins were going to be 30%. And
yeah,
people said, no way, no way. And I was like, well, they tore it down. And I believe that's based on reality. So 30%, which means that they can produce a profit clearly at 97,000 cars. They're capable of producing profit. So how much will the profit be when they are doing 150,000 cars or
yep.
200,000 cars? It's going to be massive.
Yeah, and they're about to start selling in China. They're building a huge factory to sell over there. And I mean, they're already Chinese, like the Chinese are buying a lot of Teslas already, and they don't even produce them there. So once we get that set up, that's going to be huge too. And of course, over 1 billion people in that one country, it really opens up the market even more. They're already really, really ahead of where everybody thought they'd be.
Yeah,
So
and
the
for
stock's
sure.
up
I
like
mean, in
20%.
China, with their pollution problems, they could use a lot of Teslas running around.
Yeah, exactly.
Use a lot of Teslas running around. So good news on Tesla. And you guys know that Ian, you covered Tesla. We've been thinking of like branding the Friday Ian cast to Tesla, Bitcoin, and pot.
Yeah,
You know, and the millennial view of the markets, because Ian's like, yeah, Paul, that's exactly what millennials care about is like these three things are big.
yeah, they are for sure.
And I'll just come on here as a non-millennial from time to time if you'll have
We can have you as an honorary millennial.
me. So Bitcoin, let's do Bitcoin because
Yeah.
you saw huge volatility today. What are you thinking, Ian?
Yeah, so from what I've seen, just I watch Bitcoin every day. It's been pretty flat for the past month, And from what I've noticed, the pattern is that if it's flat for like a few weeks like that, it doesn't really show much momentum. Then it has a big down day and then it repeats. But it's done this 3 or 4 times now. We're still about 100% over where we were at the start of the year. So Bitcoin still is having an amazing year. The fact that it went from 3,000 to 14,000 in basically 6 or 7 months, obviously that wasn't sustainable. We're up 100% this year. We've got the halving, which we've talked about before. That goes on in May. I think Bitcoin is going to run like continuously. If you look at like a chart of each month, it's not doing that bad compared to where it was a year or two ago. So over the next couple of years, Bitcoin is just going to keep going up over time. Maybe not every month it'll be up, but it's going to have some volatility. But my prediction, as I've said before, is sometime in 2021, Bitcoin's going to be worth $100,000 a coin. And I will stick to that. I think that there is actually a very good chance of that happening.
I'm with you on that, Ian. I also agree. I believe Bitcoin is headed up because it's got the three critical factors of going upness. It's scarce just by its definition. There can
Yep.
only be 21 million Bitcoin in the world. So, and I don't know, something like 7 to 10% of it is lost or something like that.
Yeah.
Something
Millions.
like that.
Yeah. At least.
It's valuable because people desire it. They're using it as a store of value around the world,
Yep.
and it also is unique and it has value because of that. And it continues to be in demand because, well, beyond millennials, there's also like the world, which has largely
Yeah.
crappy currencies.
Yep.
They want to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, there's dozens of countries out there that have like 10% inflation or more. Their currencies just keep getting less and less valuable. So they're putting their money in Bitcoin because it's better than the alternative, even in a lot of places.
That's right. I mean, I think that even like during Bitcoin's crash, you showed me something that like Bitcoin had still outperformed the Argentinian currency
Yeah, it
at the
did. Yeah,
time,
and
right? So
Venezuela.
despite like what an 80% crash, it had
Yeah.
done better than the Argentinian currency of its time.
Yep.
So I mean, we're still, I mean, it's obviously pretty volatile. That's because still a slightly maturing market. And so if somebody comes to with a lot of Bitcoin and pushes it out, and also I believe the Friday expiration is coming for the futures market this week, so that always
Yes.
tends to drive volatility as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What about pot? So, I mean, it's also been super volatile. Last week, I came on and we did pot as well. What are you thinking this week, Ian?
Well, the next couple of weeks, we're seeing a lot of these companies report earnings. So some of the biggest names in the marijuana industry are reporting their quarterly earnings, which could be, I believe, the biggest kind of catalyst in the near term for these companies, because if they report their earnings and the market reacts positively, it can send these stocks up like 20% a day, just like we saw Tesla today. And that could really be the start of big demand and big momentum for these stocks, because we haven't seen anything like that throughout the marijuana sector really yet. But the first big-ish company that's reported was Afria. They reported sales that was kind of around or maybe even a little bit below estimates, but people are realizing that these stocks are so cheap, they've gone down so much that was even up 20% a day. So with mediocre results, you could see these stocks really start to take off really soon.
Also, don't know if you saw Hexo
Yeah.
raise 70 million in convertible debt today,
Yep.
and people bought the stock. So shorts covered, other folks came in to buy. So that's another good sign as well.
Yeah, Pete. I mean, there's a market out there for debt for these companies. They know that the demand is there for marijuana, obviously, in North America, especially United States and Canada, where these companies really sell their products. So a company taking on debt isn't necessarily a bad thing right now, because it shows that they're really trying to grow.
Yeah, I mean, the two signs, which is number one, a stock going up on bad news is always a good sign. It
Yeah.
tells you that there's demand, both people from covering a short position and also basic demand where people are like, oh man, this still looks good. And the fact that a company can sell $70 million worth of debt into where a stock price has been going down 50 or 60 or 70% is also a sure sign of confidence.
Oh yeah. And the ETF that we watch, which is MJ, I mean, that's down like 50% or more in like
Right,
7 or 8 months.
right.
So these stocks are really, really at prices now where I think there's going to be really high demand for them, especially after
Yeah.
earnings.
I mean, we said last week we're positive on biotech. Positive on pot.
Yep.
And quick reminder, click on the strong hands if you want to get in on biotech, which will give you some incredible price action. These stocks can move like that. So that's all I got, Ian. I don't know if you got anything else. I know you don't have a special goodbye or anything like that, but if you have anything else, I'll let you say goodbye and I'll just stand here.
All right. Yeah. Happy weekend. Sorry. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody has a good weekend. We are super positive on all these things. And until next week, this is Ian Dyer with Paul saying have a great weekend.